So, did you miss me? Anywho, comms check, let me know that the comms are good. In the meantime, I shall continue assuming the comms are good. We're done. Here, we are finished. We are not listening to any more of this tyrannical, ridiculous, arrogant, ignorant disinformation in the fields of health and nutrition any longer. Staff, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, super intelligent shades of the colour sky blue pink, and also included in the list of everyone is, of course, His Royal Highness Lord Edward Yellow, King of the Bears, co-regent of Pimbatia, first of his name, the twiddler of knobs, the speaker of truths. Here he is. Hello, boys and girls. Ted's here again, isn't he? Ha ha ha. Yes, will you go and do what you do, Ted? Good boy. Good boy indeed. Yeah, so that's the war cry. Boys and girls, we have had a guts full. I have had a guts full. Ted and I have had a guts full of tuning in to the interwebs in our spare moments over the last week or so. And I've actually had more of an opportunity to have a look from time to time at some more of the things that some more of the people are saying on the interwebs. Frankly, I'm disgusted. I'm tired of it. We're done with it. And the war cry is now being issued. Staff, soldiers, prepare. We are going to start clicking off, unsubscribing from, and no longer listening to anything at all that the particular individuals who break one of 11 rules I'll give you during this discussion. 11 rules are coming. So stick around until you know all 11. Otherwise, you'll be half-cocked, won't you, staff? Any latecomers can report to Ted down the back, right next to that bucket there with the soapy frogs in it and the wetsuit hanging on the wall, which has the bottom cut out. I don't know what goes on back there. That's Ted's department, frankly, but that's where you go if you come in late. All right? Staff that are of senior rank, can you just make a list of all those latecomers, please, and let them know they need to report to Ted after the camouflage training? Thank you very much. Before we kick off with the 11 rules, obviously I need to address the situation of the last week or so where I have been sadly absent without leave from the interwebs, boys and girls. What has occurred is that a person has had a medical emergency here in Pimbatia in the last week or so that we've had to deal with, including the provision of some basic things around the care of minors and the organisation of duties and things. So that's what's had my attention elsewhere. The prognosis for the person concerned is relatively good. It seems much better than we actually thought based on what occurred in the first instance. It was quite a to-do. We, had a helicopter here and 3 ambulance crews and 3 fire crews and people running around with the old chicken with the head chopped off thing going on a bit. No, but they were very good. They were. That's not a fair description of what they were doing. They were moving swiftly, but it was all very organised, and they did brilliantly. So thank you to all of those people concerned. That said, though we are a set of hands short around here and a few extra things to take care of that we didn't have to previously for a bit, we are here, Ted and I, for you this afternoon. We hope you appreciate that, yes, there are priorities in life. These things happen. So anyway, here we are. We're declaring war on disinformation in the nutrition space and a bit in the health, so-called science space today. So 11 things that if anybody says to you I mean this, and I'm serious about it way, not in a sarcastic way, but if somebody actually says any of these 11 things in any of their videos that you see online, staff, going forward, this is what we're going to do. we're going to click off that video and we're going to go to that person's profile. I don't care who they are. And we are going to unsubscribe from that person's channel. In other words, we're not putting up with this disinformation anymore. We are going to cross our arms, turn our backs. You will lose our sub. You will lose our viewership. We are declaring war. We're done. Free speech is fine. You are free to say absolutely anything you want to. You're also free, absolutely, to pay the consequences for having said such a stupid thing. Harry King of Tasmania. Great to see you, mate. I've missed our chats. Perhaps we'll have one again very soon, and all of that. I hope you're well, Harry Louse, and that things in Tasmania are bending to your will as they ought, you being the king over there, and such, by decree of myself and Lord Edward Yellow, of course, in our ultimate authoritarian statuses as kings of the world, or at least of Pimbatia. So in Pimbatia, we recognise Harry Louse as king of Tasmania, don't we? Good to see you. And all you other bigots that are up in here. Appreciate you all being here. Let's crack on anyway, because otherwise we'll be here all day. Today, boys and girls, we're talking about 11 things that if you hear from any influencer whatsoever online, and this is something they're saying and believing to be a sensible thing to say, then we are clicking off that video and we are clicking off that person's profile forever. And we're not paying any attention to anything they say ever again. They're going to pay the price. What do we think? Is that a good way of approaching the war, as it were, this year? Staff? I don't know. Who else has been spotted at the camouflage training? Carnivore Invictus is here, of course. Health coach Joff, of course, is here. As always, good to see you, Joff. Good to see you. Yes. Who else do we need to give shout-outs to before we crack on? His Eminence, Field Marshal Dave of the Meat Militia. Hope all is well, all getting better. Yes, the prognosis is better than we thought it was going to be, Dave. So we have ultimate faith in all of that. And yes, all good. I'll tell you more in the background. Okay, Bacon Runner's here. Carnivore Invictus is here. Great to see you. Bart Robinson's here. Coach Angela's here. Good to see you. Yes, the 11 commandments for the year. Should we crack on? Let's. Right. Rule number 1, no solid boy. That's not really the first rule. It's quite a good one, though. Maybe that should be rule number 12. Or the 0th law. He's not the only one, though, is he? I mean, Dr. Paul Salad, I don't know who Bart K is, really left the building some years ago, and I think any of us who are still actually listening to anything Paul has to say are really in the wrong place, because you're not actually in the right team. You're part of the problem if you're not part of the solution. So really, he's kind of low on my hit list today. There are others who I may allude to who are saying things that they really ought not to be. Anyway, I'm going to leave the identities of some of these peoples to your good selves. And you'll know when you hear them say these things, because as I say, I don't care who it is that does say these things that I'm about to cover. Not so good. All right, so apologies for some of these things that are obvious basics, but this video also covers the material for all the newcomers as well. And here is rule number 1. If you hear any influencer at all online saying you need dietary carbs for any reason, okay, let's go straight to the top of the list. It's going to get a lot of the people that you guys currently follow unfollowed if you're listening to me. As soon as, I don't care who they are, as soon as anyone online tells you you need dietary carbohydrates in your life for any reason, I don't care who they are, we're done. This is war. We're done with this. No, you do not need dietary carbohydrates in your life to speak of at all. You will get a few grams in meat, because meat contains glycogen, which is a carbohydrate. You will get micrograms, perhaps, depending on what kind of meat, but you will get some. So there's no such thing as a zero carbohydrate diet. What I'm saying is you need to add no carbohydrates on purpose. To all intents and purposes, we're talking about zero carbohydrate nutrition, which in effect for most people means very low, because some people do add some in because we're human beings and hedonists and we're programmed through a genetic situation to crave after the carbs. So it makes it easy for people, some people, many people, most people, to go that way. And that said, the exact requirement for carbohydrates to run any of your bodily programs, systems, organs, functions, including build-up and breakdown of tissues, if anyone says to you that you require carbohydrates to make any of those things work or work optimally, we're done. No, you don't. Gluconeogenesis is still a thing. Okay? The next point is that if you hear someone say that the low-carb nutrition pattern or the low-carb diet or the keto diet, any of those labels, if you hear someone say that, and they then in the next breath tell you that it was invented last century to deal with intractable epilepsy in children, we're done. Click off that video, click off that person's profile, cancel them. No, it wasn't. It was invented by the first humans that walked this planet circa 350,000 years ago, and probably their ancestors were actually doing it largely too for about 4.5 million years before that. So they didn't even really invent it. It was just kind of passed down as we became human through the actually known process of evolution. Perhaps that should be on my list too. Anyone that tells you that evolution doesn't exist is not worth listening to. Of course it does. Does that mean that's not God's plan? No. They're not mutually exclusive. All right? I'm agnostic personally. I have no set belief structure theologically. But that said, evolution absolutely is a thing. Do you want me to prove it? Here we go. Is your DNA an exact copy of your father's or your mother's? No, it's a mixture of the both. There's evolution. We're done. Okay? Goodness sake. Right. If anyone says that a low-carbohydrate diet, a long-term keto diet will increase the risk of anything, we're done. No, there is no evidence to support that extent anywhere in the literature, none whatsoever, at all, zero. Not a problem. Yes. Okay. So, click off. We're done. No, you do not need carbs to keep your thyroid function going. No, you do not need carbs to make your hormones work. No, you do not need none of it. No, there is no evidence for any of that stuff. It's all theological, reductionist claptrappery without science underpinning it. It's a whole area that people make their whole careers on and get paid as academics to research, but it's not remotely connected with science and my understanding of science, which is considerable for those of you that don't know. Okie dokie. While you don't need carbs to keep your body systems working, a lot of people say, well, maybe not, but perhaps to make it optimized. No, that's not true either. Carbs do not optimize any aspect of any useful long-term body function of any kind. There is an argument that consuming an amount of carbohydrates can expedite the build-up of the absolute size of muscle fibers during hypertrophy training periods. But that, like everything else, is a benefit only on an inverted J or N-shaped curve, meaning there's an optimal level of muscularity beyond which suboptimal health can be born of that need to maintain such an amount of extra tissue, shall we say, and some of the things that some of those people do to maintain that amount of tissue, perhaps. Again, it's a rich tapestry, I know, degrees of freedom, all of that. Good. But no. Carbs do not optimize exercise performance unless you are a person whose metabolism is determined by carbohydrates ongoingly and thus behooving to carbohydrates. I mean, the argument that says because your metabolism is dysfunctioning in such a way as to be relying entirely on carbohydrates and you don't give it any carbohydrates and your exercise performance is poor, that's not an argument to suggest that you should eat the carbs. For goodness sake, that's a suggestion you should sort out your physiology. Okay? Yes, we're all ready for a bit of TED, aren't we? It's been one of those weeks. Staff, goodness gracious. Oaktown girl, good to see you. Report to TED, please, after this particular camouflage training. Down the back of the class, he dishes out the waves. Saying hello was TED there. He was just waving. That's all he was doing. Nothing else at all. And yeah, but he'll wave to you down the back of the class afterwards for being late. Good to see you, by the way. Yeah. Stoker 261 would help out on the farm in a heartbeat, but it's too expensive. Yeah, for a lot of people, it's a long way. Yep, we're on the other side of the world to most of you. Yes, we get that. Appreciate that very much. Anyone that does want to come and help on the farm, we may well be able to accommodate, depending on who's here and who's not here at the time. Because while it's a big palace here in the independent sovereign nation of Pimbatia, well, Ted takes up a whole room by himself for a start, you know. Mum's going to be with us for a while to help. Thanks, Mum. You rock and stuff. Yeah. There are a few extra miners around the place. It's good. It's like a real community. Yes, and there are others that come and go and are around and on site. It's turning into quite a thriving independent sovereign nation is Pimbatia. Yeah, so there it is. Right now, let's call out the first individual that we should call out, and I think you'll probably all know who I'm talking about. I can't remember his name though because he's now irrelevant, and we're not going to listen to him anymore. Something like Dr. James Dinickly No Idea or something, or James Dinickly No Nuts or something like that. A very, very brave individual that wants to try and swamp and overbear discussions about this particular topic with 107 references to 107 references that don't make his point, and tries to prevail in his pseudoscientific fashion by overly verbosely dumping all of this nonsense on people in great big thesis length responses when a 2 or 3 word response would do. And who absolutely refuses to front up for an on-camera discussion with yours truly or Ted, actually, regarding this on camera. He just wants to be right in his mind. He's not, though, unfortunately. And anyone, here it is, anyone online in any form of communication whatsoever that tells you that you need to eat a certain amount of carbohydrates or balancing things to balance your pH against this pH problem you're going to get from eating meat, otherwise your bones will dissolve, you'll get osteoporosis and stuff, is what this individual will say. No. Sorry, there is no science behind that whatsoever. No amount of citations of references that don't say otherwise will make them say otherwise. They still don't. Just the facts. No. Homeostasis is a thing. It looks after your body pH, and eating just meat and the associated fat does not pose a pH or pH maintenance control problem of any kind in the long term to human beings over multiple decades. No, your bones will not dissolve. You will not become osteoporotic as a function of eating only meat and animal fat, James. No. All right, so anyone that wants to listen to that idiot, well, either you unsub him or you unsub me, frankly. We can't, you can't have other friends. I'm sorry. Okay. All right. And anyone that tells you that if you don't eat any carbs, you won't get any insulin response, we don't need to listen to them anymore either. Nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Okay. Protein will stimulate the required insulin response to maintain thyroid function and kidney electrolyte solubility problems / function over time. It's all taken care of. It's called homeostasis. Your body's been doing it a long time. It's fine. All right? No, you don't need carbs for any of that stuff. All right? So that was number one. Anyone that says you need dietary carbs for any reason, we're done. We're not listening to you anymore. We will not hear it. You are a nutritional flat earther. We don't need to hear your nonsense anymore. Okay? Are we all clear on this point? Any questions on that stuff before we move on to the second reason for discommunicating anyone that we're currently subscribed to and listening to? Hey, Rick, good to see you, mate. I hope you're in good form and good spirits. Yeah. I saw a comment that someone was inquiring as to whether it was Pim that had been affected with a health problem. No, it wasn't Pim. Okay, Pim is in her usual fit finery, tromping about the place doing farmer girl things and having too many ducks and too many chickens and many sheeps and cows and managing the show. It's been awesome. I learned how to milk, hand milk goats and sheep this week. It's one of the things I had to step up and do. Wow. Yeah, that's perhaps for another day, isn't it? This is fascinating. This kind of thing really fascinates me when I see this kind of comment. This is the kind of thing that comes from the faction, I guess, of the online influencers who are all about the quantum stuff. It's all about light. It's not about food crowd, the Jack Cruz crowd. There's a much more, I think, balanced or moderate individual that you can listen to in that field, and that's Dr. Sarah Pugh, S-A-R-A, no H, Pugh, P-U-G-H, the busy superhuman, she calls herself. I suggest people listen to her in the field of quantum stuff, light stuff, all of that. I think she's a good voice on that. Yeah, enough said. Love you, Jack. Still love you. Nothing you can do about it still. But I'd listen to Sarah Pugh, frankly. Yeah, so we get the basis of that statement here. The basis of biology isn't chemistry, it's light. Well, it just depends on how you look at things in terms of the quantum physics and stuffs and levels of abstraction, really. It's arguable. Anyway, nice to have you here. Thanks for contributing to the diversity. We're inclusive here on this channel, aren't we, staff? We're inclusive to anyone except people who want to say you need dietary carbohydrates in your diet. And or the next thing that you might hear is that animal fat is bad for you in some way. Oh no, you don't want to be eating that saturated fat or that animal fat because either that's directly bad for you in some way or it affects your cholesterol though. Okay, so let's deal with those two things separately. Number one, in terms of does there exist anywhere on this planet any scientific experimental evidence in human beings that the consumption of saturated or animal fats, because that's the mixture too, is that causally connected with any health outcome of any kind in human beings? The answer is no. There is no evidence anywhere that suggests that. No. Okay? So that's just nonsense to say that saturated fat directly causes a health concern. No. So then the more nuanced argument becomes, oh yes, but maybe the saturated fat doesn't cause the problem by itself, but if you eat lots of saturated fat, then your body will produce more cholesterol. Okay, well, number one, that's not true either, actually. And secondly, what they're really talking about is the production of a lipoprotein carrier of lipids, including both cholesterol and saturated and unsaturated fats, and other things that won't dissolve in plasma. That's a little fat protein carriage device that we can deliver stuff in the plasma that won't dissolve in it. Lipids. Okay? Thirdly, there is absolutely no evidence existing anywhere that any of those lipoprotein carriers of any class or any subfraction of them of any kind are causally connected with any health problem of any kind, despite what these people will profess to you. But the argument that's going to get people to click off these people's channels and stop listening to them is anyone who suggests that there is any possibility, really, that the consumption of animal or saturated fat could possibly be problematic to a human in any way, shape, or form. Really? In and of itself, I mean. Sure, in mixture with other things it might be a problem, like sugar, but that's for another day. By itself, just eat fat? Is that going to be a problem? No, it doesn't seem like it is. So there's certainly no experimental evidence to support any of those claims. Finally, they'll go, oh yes, but the epidemiology though, that proves it. No. Epidemiology is a loosely controlled, fairly ill-disciplined, vastly ill-disciplined, let's be honest, faction of the pseudoscientific fringe of folks that want to claim to be a part of and ride on the coattails of science that really aren't scientists. I'm not saying that about all epidemiology. By the way, I'm saying it specifically about health outcomes-based epidemiology in human beings. Okay, so let's be clear. It's not science. It's rubbish. It's laughable rubbish. Okay, so no, that one won't work. So anyone that tells you that there's any credible evidence whatsoever that eating animal fat is bad for you in any way, we're done. Time to click off that video, click off that person's channel, unsubscribe, we're done. Remember, we're at war. We're not listening to this nonsense anymore. Anyone that says that to you, whether they be an MD, PhD from Harvard or not, for example. Okay? There's a difference, by the way, between saying there's no evidence that a thing is so and saying that there's no chance that that thing might be so. So the fact is there's no evidence that says it is so. My opinion is that we shouldn't listen to anyone that says that there's any possibility it is, because it's so ridiculous. I hope that's clear. I'm delineating the facts from my opinion part of that there. I hope that's really clear. Okay, there we go. Good work. Joff's already been at war. He's been at war for a while, though, haven't you, with the world? We're at war with the world. Dum, 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 dum. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's the other ridiculous thing they say, isn't it? But carbs are our body's preferred fuel. That is just an opinion. You should, anyone that says that to you, if we were going to put up with it any further, we're not, but you could ask that person to provide you a single scrap of evidence that that is so. What do you mean preferred fuel? How is that defined? How is that measured? Show me the experiment. What? You stoned? Goodness gracious. Just because a person might be addicted to carbs and it's their preference to subserve their addiction, that doesn't mean it's what the body prefers. No. No, anyway, we've already tuned that person out because they've already said that you need carbs, because that's where they go straight to. Oh, you need carbs though. Blah, we're done. Animal fat's bad for you though. Blah, we're done. What's next? Well, it's this one, isn't it? Cholesterol though. Yeah, maybe it's not the fat, but it's the cholesterol though. And you shouldn't eat lots of cholesterol anyway. Well, again, the amount of cholesterol that you eat has very little influence on the amount that you express in your own body, for one. For number two, there's no evidence whatsoever that cholesterol causes heart disease directly. In fact, it's ridiculous to imagine that it would. It's a vital metabolite of thousands and thousands and thousands of biochemical starting points and ending points in terms of various speciations of various things through this one enzymatic tree pathway called our metabolic system. It's absolutely vital. Okay, so to suggest that it's going to kill you in some way, ridiculous. We've already talked about epidemiology. It's nonsense. It's not science. It can't prove a damn thing. And it absolutely cannot establish risk. Whose risk? Mine? Yours? Auntie Floss? The neighbour over the road? Whose risk are we talking about? How is that established? Oh, we're some group of completely other people who aren't us. Good. And in what way did you control this experiment? Oh, it wasn't an experiment? You just collected some data off them, did you? What data did you collect? You measured their cholesterol levels once? Good. I think we're done. Aren't we? So, yeah. There is anyone that refers to epidemiology, health-based epidemiology in human beings as a science at all is someone we're not going to listen to anymore. Anyway, that's an unspoken one on my list. Perhaps that's number 12. Anyone that says that's evidence of any kind, we're done. We're not listening to you anymore. Don't care who you are. No, cholesterol does not cause heart disease. Not at all. Yes, Mendelian randomization, though. That's science. That's complex. It must be correct because we don't understand it. It's too complex. Well, I do understand it. It's not that complex, actually. Mendelian randomization is a camouflaged, disguised form of incidental epidemiology. This is associated with that temporarily. And when they say this is associated with that, this is the thing they're talking about, being the people's cholesterol levels. And that they're talking about is the incidence of heart diseases in these particular SNPed populations with various genetic abnormalities, we'll call them. Selective polymorphisms, if you like. But the number of times that they actually measured any of those people's cholesterol, actually measured it, or even used the lab estimate that is actually passed off sometimes as a measurement, like actually collected blood off anybody at all? Not once. Okay, so that's not science. Don't tell me epidemiology, Mendelian epidemiology proves the point. No, it doesn't. They didn't even measure anyone's cholesterol. Not even once, Richard Burgess. Still, no matter how many times you say otherwise. But I must be wrong because I can't bench press 415 pounds. It's a worry. Okay, and then they'll say, oh, yes, but the converging lines of evidence, though, you're just being unreasonable. No, science isn't about reason, apparently. It should be, though. It's about a set of rules. It's about a set of standards. If you want to talk about cause and effect, you need a certain standard of evidence to support the claim of cause and effect. Absent that, those rules being subserved, sorry. No, we don't have a cause and effect line of evidence. And saying converging lines of evidence is actually just code for saying we actually don't have the evidence. Because, like, if it's a slam dunk, open and closed, this causes that, you just walk in, judge, here's the evidence. My opponent's client is guilty. Please bang the hammer and say so. Here it is, bam. Not, well, we've got converging lines of evidence that lead to us to conclude that it's a strong possibility. No! Leaps of faith, folks. No good. That's not science. Okay. So there's the first 3 things that we are going to tune out of people, not listening to them anymore ever again. They're done. We're finished with those people, okay? I hope you're enjoying the commentary at length. I've missed you, people. I've missed spending time with you while I've been busy in the last week. So I thought I'd get it all out of my system in one hit. I hope that's okay. You can always click off and back on at a later stage to watch the rest of it if you're getting antsy. But in the meantime, everything free is good, of course, but nothing is free, actually. Nothing is free, Ragnar. Everything costs. You may contribute if you want to. Folks can all contribute if you'd like to. You know the ways. There's the BTC link above my head. There's also a link for that if you have BTCs. There's a link for that in the bottom of on the ticker tape there if you really want. Later on, I'll put it in the show notes as well, so it's just a clickable format. You can send your normal dirty old fiat money if you like to. I'll take it. It's still valid for now. By the usual, super chat or whatever. All inputs are always appreciated. It's expensive to keep the world afloat, isn't it, Ted? Ted? Oh, he's busy keeping the world afloat, apparently. Good boy, Ted. You keep doing that. All right. It's too much acid load in the stomach. It's going to melt your bones. No. Dave's joking. Good joke, Dave. No, that's not correct either. We all know that. Yep. Okay. So, the next one, obviously, the next one down on our list, number 4. There we go. Okay, maybe it's not the cholesterol, but it's the lipoprotein carriers themselves, or some subfraction of them, or some specific kind of them. Because you see, after 3,800 million years, 3.8 billion, that is, years of evolution on this planet, life still hasn't come up with the right answer to carry lipids around in a fluid blood plasma that's not going to kill us. It's just absolutely the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. It's just beyond a joke stupid. No, LDL does not cause heart disease. No, not the small dense ones either. They don't cause it. That's not the problem. No, it's not LP little a. No, that doesn't cause heart disease either. And neither is it ApoB100 protein. No. None of those things are the cause of heart disease, atherosclerotic lesioning. No. Don't matter. Anyone that tells you any of those things is even a possibility, cause and effect, this causes heart disease, that causes heart disease, these are people we are tuning out this year, forever. We are unsubscribing to their channels. We are never listening to them ever again. Sorry about that. If you might have an MD and a PhD from Harvard, you're gone. We're done. If you weren't already done with that particular young man, I was, but now we're definitely done. No more listening to him. No. Anyone who does not strongly stand up and say none of those things cause heart disease is not worth your time. You should not listen to those people anymore. In your private lives or here online. Turn your back in either situation as politely as is possible at the time, depending on who they are and, context, people, context. But in terms of online influencers, there's no ceremony required. You just hit that button. We're done. Boof. I'm not listening to you anymore. Ridiculous. End of discussion. Period. Boof. Okay? Let's get to number 5. There it is. Red meat causes cancer, though. We're done with you, people. No. Not listening to that anymore. Nutrition flat earthery again. No evidence exists in support of that claim whatsoever. It's ridiculous. It's fundamentally ridiculous. Of course, the very thing that makes up 65% of the dry weight of our bodies is going to kill us if we eat it. That makes perfect sense, doesn't it? Good. All right, we're done. Health outcomes-based epidemiology. Same arguments as previously. Don't need to repeat them. Rewind and review the last one again. Epidemiology doesn't even suggest there is a problem, actually, with red meat. Meaningfully, the actual outcome statistics in terms of absolute values, so close to zero as makes no odds for any given living human being over a 100-year lifespan. Forget it. It's ridiculous. We're done. No, red meat does not cause cancer. Again, converging lines of evidence, though. No, sorry, that's not going to be acceptable this year. We're done. No, the rules are you prove your point, cause and effect, or you don't make that claim. Science. Fishes. That's what we're doing this year. And no, TMAO is not a problem. We've dealt with that, and neither is any U5GC. No, it's covered on my channel already and other videos. If you're new here and you want to see where I cover that off in terms of the details, no, those things won't wash scientifically either. Absolutely not. The next thing that we're going to tune out directly and explicitly, Dr. James DeNiccoli No Nuts, is anyone that tells you that a meat diet will dissolve your bones. No, sorry. Utter nonsense. There's no science behind that. The person that's claiming that ridiculous nonsense does not even have command of the basic principles, the first principles of basic physics. It's clear and patent from any discussion that he gets. Doesn't matter how many citations you put in your 50-page response, James. If you don't have understanding of basic tenets of physics, you're not going to construct a very good, very robust argument, no matter its length or verbosity. It's still going to be wrong. Son, get your ego under control. Right, we're not listening to James DeNiccoli No Nuts this year at all. Not a skerrick. Don't even know who he is. Right, the next thing is you need fibre for gut health. No, you don't. Same arguments as above. Ridiculous, nonsensical, garbage, not so. You do not need any dietary fibre whatsoever. No, you don't. That said, please don't change your diet from anything to anything else suddenly overnight. Always ramp your diet from one place to the place you want it to be, whatever you're changing it from or to. You don't want to upset your microbiome. They tend to bite back, okay? So please do that slowly. Don't do it overnight. Anyways, anyone that tells you need some fiber, no, you don't. We're done. We're not listening to you anymore. Even if that's fermented, no, you don't. No, you do not need that in your life. Sorry. You are not worth listening to. Because if you get this wrong, what's to say you're not going to get everything wrong? We're not listening to people who get things wrong this year. I'm the science me, by the way. Trust me, I'm safe and effective. Don't question the science under any circumstances. It's hate speech. You have to respect my identity as all knowledgeable in this field. Otherwise, you're a bigot. Okay, number 8. Carnivore diet lacks vitamin C, though. Anytime anyone says that to you, like anyone in authority or claiming to be an authority, I know all about this. Let me tell you why carnivore is bad for you. You see, you won't get any vitamin C. We're done. We've heard that one too. No, not so. Number 1, a carnivore diet does, in fact, contain some vitamin C. It doesn't contain none because there's vitamin C in meat. Yes, even aged meat. Yes, even well-done aged meat. There's still vitamin C there. Not very much, but it's still there. Turns out you don't need very much on a carnivore diet because of the GLUT4 argument, which I've covered elsewhere on my channel and don't need to go over again today. Haha, I'm going to send you off to do an odyssey on my old videos. Yes, good. All right, what's next? What's the next reason we're tuning people out for? There we go. Phytochemicals, though. Anyone that tells you need phytochemicals or that the carnivore diet's bad because it lacks phytochemicals, which phytochemicals are required? Which ones am I going to be short on? Can you name any of those? Oh, they'll give you some names of things, but none of them are actual required nutrients that you can't get from, well, meat and animal fat, eggs, some dairy if you're into dairy, if that's you. There are no required phytochemicals, though, not one, anywhere. Oh, they'll say antioxidants, though, is what they'll say. Phytochemicals includes antioxidants. You need dietary antioxidants, obviously. What am I talking about? No, you don't. Sorry. What you need to do is ground yourself electrically to the earth as often as possible. And other than that, allow your body to continue to create its own endogenous suite of protein-based antioxidants that it's been doing, well, since before Adam was in short pants or before the first primordial split, depending on how you think about life. Okay? Dietary. And that's something that was kind of, well, yes, there are some things in plants that can act as either oxidant or antioxidant in some cases, like unchelated iron. It can be either a problem or a blessing. It's usually a problem. But anyway, that's for another day. Yeah, no, you don't need antioxidants either in your diet. In fact, some of them can really be problematic, like, well, if you overload your body with vitamin C, one of the metabolic breakdown products of vitamin C is oxalate, isn't it? Anyway, there we go. It turns out that you need nanograms per deciliter in your blood of vitamin C if you're not also pouring a whole bunch of carbohydrate through your system that it doesn't need. Because the most important transporter for vitamin C is GLUT4, the same one as is for carbohydrates. So that transporter is now much more free to transport much more vitamin C much more effectively. It doesn't have to compete with the carbohydrate. So you don't need it, pretty much. There we go. So anyone that says, you can't have a carnivore diet because you need some antioxidants. No, you don't. No, we're not listening to those people anymore either. More flat earthery. And number 11, this one is important, but it's down the bottom of the list at number 11 because it's going to be a hard one to police for yourself because you're still going to want to listen to these people. Oh, but everything else they say is good. No, you're part of the problem now. You need to be part of the solution. Anyone that says calories, though, about what we derive from consuming food, this is a person who does not understand basic physics, let alone more complex functions of physics like the metabolic pathways and biological function of a living human being. This is someone that does not understand first principles of physics. Calories, though, they said. I don't care if that person maybe has several world records to his name and is someone that I wouldn't want to come up against in an argument with. But nonetheless, I think we are in an argument here. No, it's not semantics. This is important stuff. You have to show command of the topic area, in my opinion, to be worth listening to by the masses, irrespective of anything else you say being good, bad, or indifferent. If you can't get your basic physics right, why the hell should we take you seriously on any other topic? Whoever you are, whether you have world records or not, and whether one of your close friends might be a PhD, MD from Harvard or something. Don't know. Love you both. Well, one of you anyway. Nothing you can do about it. The other one, I wish he'd just dry up and blow away. I really do. He's a real problem, that boy. Yes, they can. Absolutely, Dave, you're correct. And like anyone that was promoting carnivore and then suddenly says to you, oh, but you do need some carbohydrate, we're done, folks. I don't care who that person is. We do not listen to those people anymore. We're done. We can't be friends. Well, we can, but you know what I mean? We have to stop being part of the problem. The only way to deal with disinformation is to turn your back. So, that has been my call to action. That has been my war cry for the day. What did you think? What did you think? Where are we up to? Where are we up to? I'm doing a Harry. Of course I am, because I'm doing it without help. Well, okay, that's your choice. That's absolutely your choice. Yes, calories in, calories out is psycho. Psycho is psycho. Yes, absolutely. Yes, I heard that. I've heard that bit of news. That's someone you don't listen to anymore then? Well, that's someone you don't listen to for advice on, or what, because she's never really given that. She's just been a commentator. Here's what I've done. What I'm really talking about is the influencers who claim authority by virtue of some form of qualification or credential or whatever to say, this is what you guys should do. I am instructing you. I'm giving you the true information here. That's what I don't care what someone's story is. Someone can come along and say the grass is blue, the sky is green, and chocolate fish can swim if they like. I don't give two rats behinds, okay? Because no one's going to take that seriously. But if you come online and seriously say, yeah, but you need some carbohydrates, we're done. You need carbohydrates in your life. Otherwise, your thyroid won't work, or you won't be able to control your electrolytes, or you won't have any insulin action going on. If I was going to put number 12 on this list, by the way, just thinking about it now, I'd also put number 12, people that talk about insulin resistance. We need to stop listening to these people. I don't care who they are. No, insulin resistance. Nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Yeah, so there it is. Yeah, 42 years and counting. Have your bones melted yet, Rick, from eating nothing but animal flesh and animal fat for 40 years? Except for a few bites of a sandwich one summer 20 years ago or something you told me, or something like that, whatever it was, I don't know. Anyways, have your bones dissolved yet? Yes, experts. Yeah, all good. I mean, Michaela can do what she likes. Seriously, she can do what she wants, frankly. But as I say, I don't have a problem with her in any way, because she's not claiming to be an authority in the field and giving people advice about what the science says. That's not what she's doing. She's telling her story, as far as I'm aware. The internet is indeed full of experts/influencers. I just tune out most of all of them, except those that understand at the principle, foundational level, the topic under discussion. Yeah, first principles, exactly. So if you don't understand basic physics, if you say you get calories from eating food, well, why should we listen to anything else you have to say about food from that point on? Because no, we don't. We don't get calories from eating food. That's against the laws of physics, I'm sorry. So you fell over at the first hurdle there. It's not maybe. It's not, oh, it's a semantic argument. No, it isn't. It's important. A spade is a spade. Okay? Anyways, there it is. Yes, insulin resistance. Yikes. Yes, I know. How is Monsanto supposed to do that? I don't know. Yeah, it's really not my issue. When you have a week like I've had in the last week, your focus becomes quite tight on what really is your problems and what really isn't, isn't it? Yeah, okay, so you haven't melted and fallen on the floor in a puddle. Gosh, that's a shame. What about Maggie, the rancher? Have you heard from her lately, or is she... Because she's only been carnivore 67 years or something. Has she dissolved into a puddle of osteoporosis on the floor because of her meat diet? Don't think so. Not least last I heard she was still actively ranching, farming, being a farmer rancher. In her 80s. Okay? Wrestling with bulls and stuff probably. And teaching them a lesson, I shouldn't wonder. Yeah. There it is. Okay. George, welcome. George is new to carnivore. Your thoughts on Saladino? Go to rewind to the beginning of this chat. Start again. It's covered at the beginning. Basically, Paul Salad, I don't know a damn thing about a damn thing, is not someone you should listen to ever again. No, not on any topic, ever. He's absolutely just irretrievably beyond wrong on everything. It's just a hilarious laugh at this point. It's got that bad. So there is that in a nutshell, basically. Ding! That's better. There we go. We can get out of that small cupboard that I was in just before. Yes, your truck does get calories from diesel. It does. Absolutely. The other, I mean, there are a group of those out there who have the most stunning arrogance and ignorance and Dunning-Kruger that it's just beyond laughable. I've mentioned a couple of them, either directly by name or something like their name, because I can't remember what their names are anymore because they're not worth listening to, those people. But yeah, you know what I'm saying without saying it. Yep, there it is. We're not listening to that individual there on the screen either. It's one of those arrogance, ignorance, and Dunning-Kruger situations. Yes, I'd listen to Ted, frankly. If you want to listen to Ted, you can do that on the platform formerly known as Twitter, X, the platform. Look for @HRH_Ted, and that's where you'll find him sharing his opinions on a number of issues, clearly. Using succinct phraseology. Short words is what I mean. I can't do a thing with him. I keep telling him to tone it down. He won't listen. Go and check out some TED. Also advertised at the bottom of the screen on the ticker tape. If you're not sure about how that looks, there it is. Right. Hold on now. Now then. Am I now saying that carbohydrates with exercise are beneficial to a degree? No, I'm not saying that. No, not at all. I said nothing remotely similar to that. No, not at all. I have a hearing disorder. Yes. And you are tripping if you think I said anything remotely similar to carbohydrates during exercise are beneficial. Full stop. No, I said carbohydrates will assist with your exercise if your metabolism is entirely dependent on carbohydrates because you've made it that way. Not that that's optimal. That's what I said. See how that's quite different? Those of you that don't remember what I said, well, either you can believe me that I've just repeated it faithfully, or you can rewind a bit and see that that is what I actually said. So yes, that one's pretty straightforward. Right, okay. The copper or vitamin A toxicity from natural foods such as liver is false. It's not false. I don't believe it can happen on a carnivore. I don't care what you believe. Opinions are just like anal orifices. Almost everybody's got one, and it's almost certainly full of shit, isn't it? Yes, there is a very real probability and possibility of toxicity from eating too much liver. Whether you believe that to be true or not, it's still true. Sorry about that. You shouldn't do that, by the way. What you should probably do if you're going to eat any liver at all is eat liver in proportion to the rest of your meat, in the same proportion that you would find the liver in that animal. Okay? And you certainly shouldn't seek out piles and piles of liver, and you absolutely should not freeze dry that, put it into capsules and sell it to people. Hell no! You shouldn't be doing that. No. Yes. Rick was told he had to carb load. Yes, all athletes are told they have to carb load for their exercise. This doesn't make it true, though. It's just what they're all told. There is a consensus. It's a false consensus. It enjoys no scientific validity or rigorosity, if that's even a word. Probably isn't. That's a word I just made up. I'm accused of making up shit all the time. Maybe I do. Maybe I do. Who knows? I'm glad someone's mowing my lawn, though. That's appreciated. I don't know who it is. I'll go and find out later. That hasn't been done for a week either. Yes, I think mammoth probably did taste delicious. Yes. Yes. Okay. Top 3 list of blocks if you haven't already. Okay. MD, PhD from Harvard. Block. We don't listen to him anymore. He's done enough damage. He's well-meaning. His heart's in the right place. He's a nice young man, I'm sure. Not worth listening to. Not one single ounce of it. Completely, utterly incompetent. No, we don't listen to him. Quite popular at the moment is one not unattractive looking, relatively young female PhD whose surname starts with a Z, doing the rounds at the moment, saying you need carbohydrates. No, you don't. We don't listen to her anymore on any topic. No. We certainly don't listen to Dr. Paul Sellard. I don't know who Bart K is, but that should have been in place already if it wasn't. I'm very disappointed in you soldiers if you haven't already made that so. Honourable mentions to 6'5", 200 plus pound world record holder because of the calories issue and because of his fondness for or lack of discernment against MD PhD from Harvard. And just because, hey, let's make it a bit spicy. Come on, Sean, I'll fight you. No, I won't. Not at all. I'm 140 pounds dripping wet. It would be unfair. Love you. Nothing you can do about it. But seriously, stop it with the calories nonsense. And no, that boy is not going to lead you down the right path. No, he's not. Sorry. Just the facts from someone who's been there, done that, got the T-shirt over a couple of decades in academia. Lovely boy. Heart's in the right place. Does not get it. Will not get it. Probably. Let's give him the opportunity to mature in years to come. Okay, so there you go. You're welcome. And there's a whole bunch of other people. Anybody else who breaks any of the rules, any of the 11 or 12 rules, if you include IR as the 12th rule, which would also leave Sean in some hot water as well on that regard if you're going to apply Rule 12, because I don't think he's quite got it on that one yet either, maybe. Or if he has, he's chosen to ignore what I've said for some reason. Come and talk to me about it, Sean. Let's do it publicly. Let's talk about insulin resistance. Something like that. Because it's a construct. It's an idea, and it's a silly one. As how it's medically described as the pathology and the underlying etiology of diabetes. No, it's not right. It's the other thing. It's wrong. Anyways, also, you shouldn't listen to anyone who tells you that you shouldn't take cereal products. You should. All of you, by the way. Even if you're young and beautiful. My response to that is, well, how long would you like that to remain so? So raw products, awesome. Stem Enhance Ultra releases your adult stem cells from your bone marrow. They tool around in your blood, fix things up, and make it all good and tickety-boo, basically. Awesome. The most incredible product I've ever come across. It's the only company that's ever got my attention that I've agreed to support what they do in their product, that particular product, and 2 other products that they make. They make other products outside of this range as well, but I'm only talking about these 3 myself at this point. Okay, so we've got Stem Enhance Ultra, we've got Cyactive, which is an anti-inflammatory, works the same way as pharmacological ones, but without the side effects, it seems. Awesome. It's a LOX and COX pathway inhibitor, if anybody wants to know the technicalities of it. And also we've got Plasma Flow, which is an enzyme-based preparation that dissolves fibrin deposits from your microvasculature, which will occur if you're at all living a Western lifestyle and need to be broken down to allow for optimized blood flow and delivery of stem cells, red blood cells, nutrients, and, and calories. We've got to get the calories there somehow, don't we? I'm joking. Don't unsub from me just because I said calories. Calories. Calories are a thing. They exist. Calories do matter as a measurement of heat energy. Yes. Do we derive calories from eating food? No, we don't. That's not what we do. No. All right. Good. Okie dokie. That was a long answer, wasn't it, to a short question? All right, here we go. Being diagnosed with osteoporosis. That's no good. Trying to up calcium without going over 20 grams of carbs, but finding difficulty and not sure if I should use calcium DK supplement. Goodness gracious, it sounds to me very much like you should have a consultation with me, which you can do by clicking on the bit.ly/Bart-KAY link that I'll put under this video later on when I think about it. You can click on there and you can organize membership to consultancies via Patreon. There's a $100 and $200 a month US option that you can sign up for and talk to me once or twice a month for an hour if you want to, about anything you like, including what we should possibly do. Any person, any given person, not you particularly, I won't be giving you any advice, but I will be saying, hey, a person in your situation, well, here's what I might do if it was me. 1, 2, 5. 3, sir. Oh, yes, 3. But basically, the diet isn't going to be the issue. You can do things dietarily, like add extra calcium into your diet if you like. Will that solve the problem? Probably not. It's dealing with the symptom. We need to deal with the underlying etiology, the cause of the disease process. And yes, I have some tricks up my magic trick sleeve. See? There they are. They're invisible at the camouflage training. But yes, you should do that. All right. I'm a passionate man. Oh, yes. Amazing energy and cutting the crap. Yes, I'm trying to. I'm really trying hard to say, okay, guys, we need to pivot from here. We need to move on from here as a group. If we need to hard fork, then that's what we're going to have to do. There are some people whose energy, whose message we're going to have to cut out of our consumption, out of our diet of online consumption. There are people who are doing our thinking processes harm, whether they be, doing that nefariously or whether they be doing it through unconscious incompetence. It needs to stop either way. So we need to stop listening to these people. That's the war cry. If you've missed the most of the show, you can rewind and get the war cry, but that's what it is. There are some people we're just not going to be listening to this year anymore from this point forward. And it's quite a long list because there are 11 or 12 rules that you apply. And if anybody says any of those things to you seriously as if they're correct, then they're on the list of people we're not listening to this year anymore. Sound good, soldiers? Do you get me, though? All right. You've been banned since the vid. Oh no, they didn't like it? I can't believe that. It was class from start to finish, I thought. You just can't keep people happy, can you? At least not people that decide what free speech we're allowed to have and what free speech we're not allowed to have. Isn't it? A big box of pretzels? Goodness gracious. Are you here to help? Causing trouble as usual. I should have known it was you causing trouble, Pete. There's always one in every group, isn't there? I think you should report to Ted after class for, well, you know, a bit of ha 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 ha. Ted, you need a bath, son. You smell funny. Go on. Yes, good boy. Good boy. Ah, Ted. Nothing changes in the Ted department. He's still useless. Aren't you, Ted? Aren't you? Well, you know, so if somebody wants to put together the merchandise for me and market it, yeah. Yeah. The Ted plushies. Nice. Yep. Like it. Yep. All right. How long have I been crapping on for? An hour. Incredible. What about placenta? If you like, whatever. You do you. My main issue, if there is an issue with eating organs of any kind, is with liver, personally. I don't think that there are necessarily issues with other organs so much. I'm not saying don't eat liver. I'm saying there's no need to. It's not required. It's not a superfood, and certainly is not something that you should eat relatively large amounts of. That's not a good idea. It's the dose that makes the poison with everything. There is an optimal level of everything, including liver, and it's not more. And more is better. In the same way that more and more is not better in terms of exercise. No, that's not better. That's just dumber. Okay? What's this? Liver stops tasting good for me after a while. Well, maybe listen to your body. There's a reason for that. Yep, and that's what you're saying. You do, in fact. Good. Well done, you. Well done. The only instinct that your body has that you should not listen to, really, in terms of food is the carbohydrate instinct, the one that says, oh, carbs, yum. Ignore that. Everything else, you should probably listen to your body a bit. And actually, the more you resist and ignore the carbs thing, it goes away eventually. And then all your other instincts actually seem to be so much the sharper for it as well. Am I wrong, staff? Those of you that have been around for a while. I don't know. Okay, mate. Rightio. I will. I'll pass on your regards. Very good. Good to see you, Harry. Ciao. However long ago that was. Oh, yeah. 20 minutes or something? No? 10 minutes. There you go. I'm still doing better than you, Harry. I'm only 10 minutes behind on the chat. Right. Okay. Bacon runner's going to have muscles. Like it. As long as you've got ideal level of muscles and not too many muscles. Too many muscles is not good long term. Yes. Also, we should have a t-shirt saying, yes, according to whom, on the basis of what? As long as I'm credited. Yes, I'm sure. Me and Ted are as well. We're absolutely adorable, irresistible, aren't we, Ted? You can't get the help. You really can't. It's incredible. Right. Who said Dr. Berry is awful? He's not. He's a delightful man. Goodness, I won't hear of otherwise. It's delightful. All right. Good. Good to see you, mate. Jonathan's in the house. Did you come in late? You might have to report to Ted. See if he forgives you or not. All right. Yeah, a lot of people say that. I came across carnivore because of Dr. Salad I don't know. Okay, yeah, fine. That doesn't mean we listen to him now. We stop. Okay, if that was your routine, that was your routine. He used to make sense a bit. He still did it wrong, though, because he ate lots and lots of liver and ate too many meals a day that weren't enough for him based on his output, which was significant, doing a lot of exercise and stuff. He did it wrong. He never really was a carnivore. But if that was your way in, then so be it. That was what it was. Yep. The way that people get in here is usually an algorithm-based thing. It's not about who makes the most sense. It's not about who the science is. That's me. I'm the science. I'm safe and effective. You can trust me. You should never question the science, even though that's exactly how science ought to be done. Never mind that. I'm in charge here. Don't question it. It's hate speech if you do. Just come and listen to me. Everybody else, well, Anthony Chaffee's pretty good. Dr. Berry's a friend of mine, I think. It's the last I heard. I haven't heard otherwise. Everybody else, nah. Dr. Sarah Pugh is good if you want to talk or listen to her thoughts around the quantum stuff, which I think are good and much more moderate and sensible than others, perhaps, in that field. I think we just need to be a bit more discerning, boys and girls, staff, ladies and gentlemen. Too many people have got our attention. We're listening to too much nonsense. It's brain rot. It's no good for us. We need to be a disciplined, sharp, edge-focused military organisation here, or pseudo-military organisation, because, yeah, it's all a war of words, isn't it? Okay. Thanks for being here. I've appreciated it. It's been a while since I've got to spend some time with you all because of a week I'd rather forget. But there it is. And we'll see what next week brings. Hopefully I'll be able to get back to something like a normal schedule of video presentations for y'alls this week. But if not, bear with me. We'll get back into a swing once we know what we're dealing with and what needs to be done to make things happen that need to happen. Okay? Thanks for being here. Thank you for the super chat. That was appreciated. Georgius Prado, whose gateway drug to the real stuff was Dr. Paul Salad. I don't know dick about fuck. Welcome. Thanks for the support. Others can support at any time they like in any of the ways that we've already mentioned. And we'll catch up with you next week. Yes, well, next week for us because it's Friday now and I'll probably be back on Monday. Okay, all right, let's sing the song anyway. Where's my old headphones? Here they are. Rightio. Steak and eggs and eggs and steak. That's what you should have for your breakfast. Delicious. Eggs and steak and steak and eggs. Just making sure you heard. I think they got it, Ted. Join me next time when someone will be wrong on interwebs, perhaps. Doesn't look like slowing down just because I haven't been here. Hit the button, Ted. Anytime. You can do it.